this video, we're going to go over some of the joysticks that are available to use with the Xbox Adaptive Controller. This will not be an exhaustive list of all the joysticks available. We're going to go over some of the options so users are aware of some of the things that might be available for them to use with the Xbox Adaptive Controller. So we're going to start from left to right here. On the left, we have T-bar joysticks, and these joysticks are larger, and they have a T-bar that the user can rest their hand on, and they can move the joystick, and it's a fairly large access point, which is good for users with limited fine motor ability, or maybe a user who uses a power chair and uses a similar type of control to access their power chair. The cons of using a large joystick like this is that you can't do as fine of movements as you can with some of the smaller joysticks. So in games like first-person shooter games, when you need to make small adjustments to play, such as for aiming, this is more difficult as it's a larger joystick, so it's harder to make those smaller movements. So like I said, these are two different options. The one right here is the Ultra Stick from Joystick, and this one has a little bit more resistance than the one from Warfighter Engaged, and it doesn't have quite as long of a range as the one from Warfighter Engaged either. So this would be good for a user who might have a little bit more limited range of motion, as it doesn't require as much movement back and forth to access the joystick. It also provides a little bit more support to center the joystick, so for users who might have limited strength, who are having difficulty getting back to the center of the joystick, the Warfighter Engage option might not be as good for them as the Ultra Stick. However, one thing to consider is that the Ultra Stick option is significantly more expensive than the Warfighter Engage option is. So that's something else that the user has to be aware of when choosing between these two options. Now, this option here, this one is called the Palm Sticks. This is available through Warfighter Engaged. This one's a little bit of a combination between a larger joystick and a smaller joystick. It's a larger access point, but it moves a little bit more like a small joystick, so it has a much smaller range. So it's easier to make fine movements with this joystick. This one will require the user to be able to rest their hand over a ball-type surface and then move the joystick in each direction. So like I said before, this is kind of a transition point between a large joystick and a small joystick that might be good for some users. Next, we have the thumbsticks, which can be used with the Xbox Adaptive Controller. These are just like your typical thumbsticks that are used on a regular controller. However, these can be mounted anywhere next to a person, so the person can access it with any of their fingers, access it with their thumb, or any other part of their body like their toe or their elbow. This one here is from Warfighter Engaged. This one, which is a similar joystick, is from Evil Controllers. And there's other options too, such as ones from 7 Mile Mountain and other companies that make small thumb-style joysticks that are similar to the standard joysticks that are on a standard video game controller. Next here, this is the nunchuck. The nunchuck has a thumb-controlled joystick, typically what you would see with a standard video game controller. It also has buttons on it that the user can also access for different controls in the game. This one will require that the user is either able to hold the device, or the device will either need to be mounted in a location where the person doesn't have to hold it, and they can simply just access the thumbstick or the buttons on the controller. This one right here is a more specialty style joystick. This one has 4 different switches that the user can simply just touch for different controls. It doesn't require that the user presses with any force. It just simply senses the user's touch on the 4 different directional buttons. And these can be assigned for 4 directions on a joystick or the D-pad buttons on the controller. So this would be really good for a user who doesn't have a lot of strength, but they can maybe move their thumb or their finger to just press or touch over each of the directional buttons. There's a similar option available through 7 Mile Mountain, and this option is also a joystick type controller that senses the touch of the user. So the user can simply slide their finger up, down, left, and right to access all of the controls, and it doesn't require that they use any force. It simply senses their touch and adjusts the joystick movement based off of where they're touching on the specific controller. So these are really good for users who have extremely limited strength and range of motion. So these are some of the options that are available out there for users for the Xbox Adaptive Controller. I'll link some of these controllers that we showed below the video so users can go to the sites and see where they can purchase each of these controllers. In addition, I will link some additional controllers that we might not have shown in the video, and then the user can make an educated decision on which joystick might be best for them.